Group 1, I won't present for you. You've not paid me to do so. Come and do your presentation. I know you're capable.
All right, good afternoon all. Good afternoon. My name is Emmanuel Oricha and I'm presenting on behalf of Group 1. And the question is for us to review existing policy or policies on advertisement of FP commodity. And then after doing that, we identified challenges, opportunities, and then we made recommendations. These are the challenges we identified. Number one, the timing of the adverts. Most times the adverts are set to be aired from 10 p.m. in the night for TV adverts. Then the second challenge is restriction on language use for advertisements. Insistence on the use of coded words which may not effectively communicate to the target audience. For example, the word condom may be said as raincoat, and sometimes it may not send the right message to the audience. High cost of advertising is another challenge. Restriction on the target audience. Restriction on citing of FP messages. Next slide. Another challenge is ignorance, cultural, religious bias, which inhibits policymakers' decision in promoting advertisement of FP commodities. All right. Another challenge is that only generic messages may be allowed. Sometimes branded messages are not allowed. Neglect of traditional ways of announcement. The next one is contradictory interpretation of supposed to be given prime time for advertisement, but when it comes to FP commodities, it has been regulated by saying you have to air the adverts after 10 p.m. The next point is, just the last point, the bureaucratic red tape over approval processes by the agencies. Just as the speakers spoke earlier on, sometimes it takes about 3 months. Thank you. The next slide. All right, for the opportunities, there are opportunities which we could explore, and one of them is the favorable policy environment that can promote dialogue to address challenges within regulatory agencies. The next is the existing social mobilization and community outreach strategies being used by partners. Other people can take advantage of these strategies. Existing media owners forum. There is a media owners forum which we could partner with. Existing traditional media, religious and traditional leaders who are FP champions. From experience, those who are FP champions help in driving the message a long way. Existing trade unions and community-based association meetings. During meetings, these messages could be passed on. The next slide. Branded promotional boards. For example, welcome board. We could, just as Indomie do theirs for schools, say welcome to XYZ secondary school, and you have the Indomie brand, the paint. We could also do the same for certain places. The use of reflective jackets. Like in Abuja now, it's good you use if you're an Okada rider. The use of bumper stickers and souvenirs. For our recommendations, next slide. Increased advocacy. In order to address the issues raised, we are recommending that there should be increased advocacy to regulatory bodies to address issues raised. We shouldn't give up, but keep advocating. Review existing policies, e.g. policies contradicting the advertisement of FP commodities as health products. The next point is the Federal Ministry of Health to take leadership role in collaborating with Federal Ministry of Information to address the issues with all relevant agencies. And then we also talked about repackaging of FP messages to resonate more with men. You know, it's good we let men know that FP also benefits them. Oh, yes, not for women only. FP benefits the man and, in fact, the entire family. The children too would benefit. Massively increase demand creation and public dialogue on FP. Advocate for legislation to promote FP as a right. Enlist more FP champions, both males and females, at all levels. Partnership with mass media organizations for strategic advocacy. I think that's the last slide. Thank you very much. Okay, maybe I'll call on.
Please, we'll take all the presentations and then the group 2-4. Group 2/4, they are together. Thank you. Oh, 2 and 4. SFH. Pathfinder. The main people. You know them now.
Good afternoon, everybody. Group 2 and 4, we looked at tax sharing, so tax shifting policy, and we were asked to identify. Can you put it to the next slide? Yeah, so we're asked to look at the policy and see if there are additional groups of people that have not been captured by the policy. Okay, the first thing we noted is that they put the word policy or policies, and we identified that there's just one policy that is tax shifting. So we said one existing policy, which is called tax sharing and shifting policy for essential healthcare services in Nigeria. So it focuses on retraining selected cadre of healthcare workers on some specific tax that have been shifted to them or shared with them. So we look at the various cadres of healthcare workers that are included. This includes medical doctors, nurse midwives, CHUs, and then village healthcare workers. Now, looking at the policy, it says that the doctors can provide all methods. For nurses and CHUs, they can provide the same methods, except permanent methods. Then the COPs, who are the community-based people, they are limited to provide not to provide contraceptive methods. And in fact, well, we are probably need to bring back the director of the Federal Ministry of Health to explain this to us. We found this a bit not clear. Yeah, because we are aware that community-based distributors who are within the group of COPs do provide counseling and referral, and then also refill for pills. But the policy is saying no, so we need clarification from the Federal Ministry of Health. Yeah, so that comes to the challenge in terms of restriction of tax shifting to some cadres, inadequate human resources. Well, this is what the policy is trying to address as a stopgap measure. Before government can employ more and distribute them equitably. So opportunities that are on top human resources. We try to discuss around if there are other groups within the community that can also, tax shared. And the only group that we had consensus on are the NYSC core members that are posted to those communities, that they can also do the work of the community groups, that's the cops. They can do counseling and referrals. So those are the only groups that we had it. But we are also aware that the policy is passed already. It cannot be changed now. But our suggestion can come up when it's due for review. Yeah, so that's what I just said, that core members, NYSC core members, so that we differentiate this from the corps of community-oriented resource persons. Yeah. Yeah, so our second assignment is to look at monitoring of these various cadres that have been tax shared or tax shifted to. And we noted that the Federal Ministry of Health, in trying to implement the tax shifting policy, is already putting things in place to ensure that monitoring of these various cadres in terms of their new tax is embedded right from their training. So for every new tax that they are going to take on, they will be trained, and the training is competency based. So it means that right from the training, they are monitoring them to be ensured that they are competent enough to provide the new tax that have been given to them. And then there's also, so that training is competency based. There's also a post-training supportive supervision and checklist that is available to monitor these people immediately after the training up to like 6 months. And then this is to be followed on by the regular state supportive supervision that is done regularly at the state level. So those are the monitoring avenues that are available to monitor these new cadres that have been given new assignments or new tasks to perform in addition to what they have been doing before. Thank you.
Please, let's appreciate him. You know, why it was important for him to speak is because we are here to also find a path to, hello, we are here to find a path to family planning, financing, and policy. So it's good Pathfinder is speaking. Thank you. Next group. Group 3. Group 3, please.
I apologize in advance. I have a tendency to talk very fast. So if I'm too fast, just tell me to slow down and I will. Okay, we started with explaining what ethical commodities were and non-ethical commodities. This actually helps us to find our challenges and the opportunities. Ethical commodities cannot be advertised on radio or TV, but they can be presented to consumers, to you and I. We can talk about it. We can tell our friends, oh, go and buy this at so and so place, it would help you. While non-ethical commodities can be advertised, but cannot be seen to promote sex. For instance, condoms. They can only be advertised at a particular time. In other words, in the mornings, when children go to school, when children are watching cartoons, it cannot be shown on TV. It cannot be advertised on the radio. Those are the laws in place. Now the challenges. Time belts for advertisements. We have 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. for television, 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. for radio. This, of course, causes a loss on generality of people that can be reached. What we mean by this is, whether we like it or not, secondary school children are having sex. And some of them are having unprotected sex. But because they don't know that you can buy this thing to help protect yourself from AIDS, some of them don't use it. We have billboards advertising condoms are not allowed around secondary schools. Even here, you cannot see a billboard advertising condoms. It's not possible. Dual regulatory approval issues, AFCON and NAFDAC. You must have both approvals before you can even advertise one product. This, of course, brings prolonged and delayed approval periods. It's very frustrating. There's creativity restriction. Like I said, you cannot talk about sex. Somebody in Group 1 mentioned raincoats and all these things, but people will not understand. There's self-regulation by broadcast stations. Some of them reject some advertisements because they're afraid that they'll be reprimanded. That, of course, is an issue. Opportunities. What we're thinking is that a national stakeholders dialogue involving regulatory bodies, broadcasting outfits, implementing partners, etc., to agree, will come together and agree on defined implementing guidelines for family planning. There should be a review of the policies. We mentioned just 3. The APCON national guidelines, NBC guidelines, and the NAFDAC guidelines. There should be an expansion of non-ethical products list to include emergency contraceptives. Women should also be able to protect themselves. Condoms leak. We are also advocating for prime-time advertisement space. We're thinking of setting up a joint committee to fast-track regulatory approvals, and also set up a steering committee to even, when these things are agreed on, to move it to its completion. Finally, we're thinking of flexibility of implementation strategies, particularly to various states. As you know, what might be admissible in River State might not be admissible in Sokoto. So it has to be flexible. It must be tailor-made for these various states. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We may have to take some comments, right? Good. Please, when you want to make your comment, let us know which presentation you want to speak into, so that the groups may just take note. Okay? Yeah. Let me see hands up, please. Anybody who wants to make a comment? Ma? Hey, I know. Just let me see hands up. Number 1, number 2, number 3. That's all. God bless you. Number 1. Microphone, sir.
Good evening, all of you. I stand by congratulating all the groups for the wonderful and very educative and self-explanatory presentation. But for the first group that makes presentation, where they are engaging the community or the NYSC as a community or community members for the demand creation issue, I think and I do believe NYSC are not likely to have a permanent sustainability. They are just for a year and be posted back to their own state. And I believe that existing structures everywhere nationally accepted World Development Committee. It's established by the NPSCD and the Federal Ministry of Health Guidelines. So I think they should engage the WDC, not NYSC members. NYSC members can only be included, but the WDC members. Thank you.
Which group is this for their attention, sir? Group 1. Okay.
What is his name?
The chairman of the DOT is the person who spoke. Chairman AAFP DOT. Number 2 is around here.
Mine goes to group 2 and 4. What I observed is an observation I made. I understand that the TBAs are not mentioned as one of the task group, as one of the task team in the task sharing policy. But yet, some of these TBAs provide good services, saving lives on issues of family planning and reproductive health in the villages. Then how can we reconcile their position in the policy as it is now?
Number 3.
What is the name of this second speaker?
Sir, your name, sir? The president wants to know.
Samaila, Web from Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development.
Adamu Samaila. The man is representing Women Affairs. Next.
Thank you very much. My name is Comrade Lucy Opiong from the Nigerian Labour Congress. My comment is on presentation 3, and I'm worried about those restrictions on advertising, family planning, gadgets as it were. It appears that maybe that is why we have not been able to achieve much from it. We know that these children, which they are saying that they want to prevent from seeing those things, are in the age bracket of very active sexual people. And I think in different fora, we have preached and we have also resolved that sex education should be taught to our children. If possible, include it in our school curriculum, so that, especially to reduce the spread of HIV and other things. So why are they still standing on this restriction? It's like, I don't know the adjective to use. So I want to recommend that there's need for a kind of advocacy to the NC and other agencies. For them, they are just behaving like old school. We are talking of the reality. If we really want to attack issues the way it is, we should be ready to face reality. Our children, they know more than we think. It's better to let them know the right way to go than to keep hiding these things from them. I don't think it makes sense. So we need to engage in advocacy and dialogue so that we can reorientate those old men and women that are still operating at that level. Thank you.
So may we invite any response from the groups? Yeah. Did you get her name the last time she spoke? So please, is there an opportunity to let us know your name?
My name is Tamo Irwene from the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development. Now, we're not saying we're advocating for school children not to know about sex. We're saying it's a challenge, it's not allowed. It's a rule in Nigeria that you cannot advertise condoms near schools, which is contradictory, seeing that we talk about sex in schools, but they're not allowed to see it, and because of that, they're not allowed to advertise it when school children are awake. So we're saying it's something which should be looked at so it can be removed. Okay. More. Okay. Thank you. It's okay. Thank you.
I'm Dr. Salami for Pathfinder. Seriously, I think the discussion as per engaging NYSC core members to do community level work has nothing to do with the health system structure that starts with the WDC from the community and goes up like that. No. We know core members are there for a year, at least. And those who decide to stay back can stay back. But within that 1 year, they're in that community. So, So, but maybe what is referring to is that particular one that is trained. So, for the core members that are posted to that community, those who are interested, so it is not automatic that once any core member is posted to a community, that person will be engaged as a core member to provide community activity for family planning. No. And again, even as we have community-based distributors, they are not in every community. They are in communities where they have one partner or the other supporting them. So it is within that same structure of somebody supporting those who are already in existence that can have additional hands who are NYSC core members that are also in that community. So once they show interest, they bring them in like the other ones that are there already, train them and let them do what they are expected to do for that 1 year at least. For those who want to stay back, they can stay back. For that 1 year, the reach that they will provide, I mean, those who they get across to cannot go away, even if the core member is going away. Once they're able to cancel people and refer them on family planning to the clinics, those people have been captured. They will be linked to the facility and continue their service. And for other CBDs that are already in the community, they continue to work with them. So that's what we're saying. We are not saying they should take over any existing structure. We understand the roles of the WDC as far as the health system is concerned. Nobody is changing that. TBA, that question is not for me, that's for Ministry of Health. It's not my own making. But what I can say is that now, different states have different ways they are engaging their TBAs. But I think there has still not been consensus in terms of engagement with TBAs. There are those that do not want TBAs at all. There are those that are like, look, TBAs are doing something, let's engage them. But what I can say is that there has been some level of engagement in terms of at least training them on infection prevention and referrals. That's why I know almost everywhere that they accept that they can do that. But training them to be better midwives to deliver, okay? Infection prevention, referrals, I think is generally acceptable. To do more than that, some states have some things they allow them to do. But I think, as I said, maybe Federal Ministry of Health can say what federal government wants them to do, but it's not for me to come and say here. I hope I've answered all that I have to do with. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll take any more reply on things already said, not response to response. Any more reply on what was said by any of the groups. Thank you. So response to response. Who has? Chairman, you have. Who else? Two. Mama, I saw your hand up. I think say na me you the wave. Okay. Chairman 1 and then my sister 2. Who else? Over to the chair.
Yeah, the response was still good, but partially. But when we say WDCs, they are already existing structure, like you mentioned. But remember, whatever experience that we are introducing before the WDC, we are making them to become well-informed, well-experienced. And these NYSs that you are saying, they are sometimes not peculiar to that area. The mode of dresses, mode of appearance, what are they, peculiarly different to that diversity. But the more you create awareness and you create more services, these WDC, they are well trained by most of the development partners working around all states. WDCs now, they are into two comfortable time. They have women, house to house, interpersonal communication, educating women about family planning, creating demand house to house. House to house, they are on in northern Nigeria now. So for the ownership and sustainability of this issue and the less cost, because when you assign NYSC tasks, you must give them allowances. This WDC require no allowances. It's their own cardinal objective to provide bridging gap between service providers and the community. And you're creating them more knowledgeable. Like I that you are seeing here, I'm a chairman of the BOT. I have never been a health personnel. But experience interacting, mingling with you guys is what changed me, broadening me to where I'm speaking with you here. That is why every member of the community now, they are on and on and on and on, creating environment for this. So therefore, they should still be sustained, engaged, so that communication can reach out everywhere. Services can be accepted everywhere. I believe WDCs should be proactively engaged. That is better than to add NYSC issue, because NYSC, the mode of dresses, even the dress, in some communities, they now create even hatred of the messages they want to take to community. The community respects their clothes, their culture, their religions, and everything. Most of the NYSs, they are from south going to north going to south. How do you think somebody like me can go to Takot and convince people? But if somebody wearing coat and is cross, they'll say this is good. But if I'm in the north, people like me can be well accepted. That is final. Thank you.
Yes, that is a very good point, but we need a prayer. We need to be praying that in this country there will be a day when people from the south will be well accepted in the north, and those from the north well accepted in the south, no matter what we are professing. If you are in support, say Amen.
Amen. Good afternoon. Part of what I wanted to say, Alaji have said it, because my name? Sunana Awamusa, Diga Adamawa State, Primary Healthcare Development Agency. Part of what I wanted to say, Alaji have already said it, because we in Adamawa, we have community-oriented research persons all over the 21 LGS that were trained on different skills. They were trained they were trained as link between the community and the health facility. They were trained on health education, especially house to house. They were trained on how to finding cases within the community and refer them to the clinic, on antenatal, postnatal, nutrition, also family planning. They are all trained. They are also trained on ICCM. So we in Adama, we don't much use these core members, because as Alaji have already said, their cultures are different, and those community-oriented resource person corps, they are residing in that community and they are the indigenous of that community, and they are working hand in hand with the World Development Committee members, which are functional throughout the 21 areas. The World Development Committee of Adama State are functional even now. Whoever is going to the community now, whether it's a partner, must come through this World Development Committee, through the local government PLC authority, through the World Development Committee, to see the community resource-oriented persons. And these community resource-oriented persons are monitored by health facilities and also their World Development Committee members. So that's the story in Adamawa State. So we use these community resource-oriented persons for our link within the community to the health facility, for finding cases and advising women on how to go on with their own care of their children and their own health. Thank you. It's minimal. It's minimal, yes. No, there is no much issue in Adamawa, because already we have, and even this family planning case, we have a World Bank that is partnering with agencies, and this they are trying to buy the services of the family planning services. Not, I'm saying, when I mean buying, they are not taking money to go and buy the communities, but they are buying the services. The services. As now, when I have gone to the community, I have a client, I have registered her for family planning, I've given her fees. So these people will pay me 15 naira. And this 15 naira, I that will have done that work, I will get 10 naira or 15 naira. The remaining 30 naira is for the clinic, for renovation, for buying what is not available in the community. So this thing helps much in the improvement of the MNCS service at the local government levels within the Adamawa State.
don't automatically apply line, book, and sinker on every basis. Take it back to your localities and adopt as those aspects of it that are relevant to what the them, and we make the best of it. But we all agree on one thing. We need more hands, more hands, and we will try as much as possible to identify those communities and principles within our environment, within the workplace and spirit of the policy, taking into consideration all issues relevant, ethical, and moral issues as the basis of our space.
Okay. Okay, what I just wanted to say is that in terms of the messenger, whether it's acceptable to a community or not, which is what Saiki Yaki was about trying to elaborate, I would say I agree with him, but also with a proviso. I use myself as a personal example of what I'm trying to talk about. I'm from Abia State, from the south. In my 36 years of being a physician, I would say when I was a clinical physician, so to say I spent 10 years of my life practicing in the north. When I started programming as IPAS country director, in my 11 and a half years of being in IPAS, the most wonderful work I have done is from the north. And that's why strategy is very key. Because we might not have all we want in every region. That's why we're saying, and that's why when we talk about NYSC, I get very nostalgic. NYSC is a pool of resource that we are missing, just like I was discussing with him. The not using NYSC fully is a missed opportunity, in some cases, lost opportunity. There are certain steps, strategic steps you take if you're a new person in a community. One, you must go through the community gatekeepers. You must touch base with the opinion leaders. And then your conduct must be guided by two things. One, using appropriate language and being culturally sensitive. Once you use that, the chances are that, and people see that you are honest, passionate, and interested in what you're doing. Like, example, when I was in Canada, they used to call me Yakubu. My name is Eji Koch. But the Hausas call me Yakubu. The Yorubas call me Tunde. I don't know what Tunde means. I don't know what Yakubu means. But the important thing is that once a patient comes to me, if he's Hausa, you will think he's my blood brother. If he's Yoruba, you think he's my blood brother. So it also has to do with the way we interface. The reason why I'm saying this is that I'm going back to NYSC. NYSC is the biggest opportunity Nigeria has to get to areas where we do not have adequate manpower to take care of our needs. And they are well trained, they are minimum graduates.
Thank you very much. Just a little comment from my side. I have been enjoying the conversation and a lot of experiences have been shared. However, I'd like us to come back to the regulatory policies which we are discussing and how we can move that forward for us to be able to do something about it. That's all I want to say. Thank you very much. I enjoyed all the discussion. But you don't want to sleep here. We want to go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you look at your time now, it is 3 p.m. And we'll close by 4. That's what our schedule says. Oh, we'll close by after 4. Okay. So, please, we are projecting the recommendations we are going to present. It reflects everything virtually we've been talking about. We would invite response to this. But please note, because this meeting has been specifically called to discuss financing and policy for family planning, we will restrict a good number of the issues here to financing and policy. That's one. 2, I therefore pray you, any more comments you will make on this, let it be specific on areas of this document that have to do with financing and policy. Those in support say aye. The ayes have it. Thank you. I am not David Mark or Bukola Saraki, so you manage me to where I am. So, these are the recommendations from the National Dialogue on Family Planning, Financing and Policy in Nigeria, as put together by AAFP. The theme is Achieving the Goal of Family Planning Blueprint, Stakeholders Dialogue on Funding and Regulatory Policies. Yeah, is there? All right. Now, sorry, please remove this. I wanted to give you the caption. Please remove this, Secretary. Remove this stepping up operation of action. I wanted to give you the caption, but I didn't know how. So, introduction. About 200 stakeholders in family planning in Nigeria met in Abuja from 19 to 20.
Yes, sir.
I said about 200. Huh? What is the distance? So what should it be? Huh? Yesterday alone we had more than 140 people registering. And today new people came in. I need to be advised. I consulted the attendance sheet and I said about 200. Yesterday alone we had more than close to 150 registering. And new people came in today. Thank you. Now, met in Abuja from 19 to 20 April 2016 at Rockview Hotel Royal under the auspices of Federal Ministry of Health and Association for Advancement of Family Planning and with support from Pathfinder International Society for Family Health, NURI2 and Palladium. Is this acceptable? Thank you. Participants received presentations from very knowledgeable speakers on the following topics. Day 1, overview of PACFA project, the key findings from the assessment of the administrative and regulatory barriers affecting FP, overview of FP funding and regulatory policies, allocation and release of funds to MDAs, funding for MNCH programs, national and some selected states whose budgets are in the public domain, analysis of allocations to MNCH for 2016. Do we agree? Day 2, update on financial gap analysis, recap of the regulatory issues affecting FP, family planning landscaping in Kaduna and Lagos, policy and private sector findings, operationalizing the task shifting sharing policy at the sub-national level, the role of PPMB in FP services delivery, SFH experience, advertising branded commodities, regulatory and policies affecting FP. Do we agree? Scroll. Participants also discussed in breakout sessions the issues, challenges, and recommendations involved in and related to the following. On the 1, international funding commitments and obligation in family planning, public sector funding trends, issues, challenges, and opportunities, non-public sector funding trends, issues, challenges, and opportunities, family planning blueprint, status of funding for implementation and prospects for the future. Do we agree? On Day 2, review existing policies or policy in advertisement of family planning commodities, with particularly identifying challenges to increase the availability and uptake of services and commodities, identify opportunities and propose policy options for greater uptake of services and commodities, discuss existing task sharing to shifting policy or policies, identify challenges and opportunities, and propose policy options for greater availability of services, under which we identify any other cadre of healthcare providers that will need to be included in the task sharing. Scroll, please. And suggest in ways in which monitoring the activities of these cadres could be done. Do we agree? Thank you. So, We also had group works. On day one, we had a group work, 4 group works. The first that discussed the international funding commitments and obligations in family planning, identify the following issues and challenges. That Nigeria is not fulfilling her international funding commitments, such as, please, our comments will be only on financing and policy, so that we may go. Identify them and then speak about them. That Nigeria is not fulfilling her intellectual funding commitments, such as ICPD 1994, that is the International Conference on Population Development. Nigeria committed to fully support the plan of action covering family planning and reproductive health. Do we retain this as policy? Please shade it green. Commitment of $8.35 million annually to family, just shade, not color. Huh? Because there will be more coming. Just, yeah, it's there. Then green, that's all. No. Okay. Now, commitment of $8.35 million annually to reproductive health commodities at the 2012 launch of London Family Planning Summit. Is it a policy? Federal government committed itself to this. Is it a policy? But is it funded? Is it financing? If the government commits itself to this amount every year, is it financing? Please color it green. It is financing. It's a method of financing family planning by the federal government. Unless if we say they didn't make that commitment. It's like, you understand? The thing is, non-fulfillment of the Abuja Declaration of 2001 to spend 15% of annual national budget on health and also 10% of health budget to reproductive health, family planning, and MCH program. Okay. Non-fulfillment of counterpart funding commitments by state government to international family planning and reproductive health programs like the UNFPA. We signed. Non-domestication of the relevant treaties and agreements on the rights of women indirectly stalls funding of family planning and reproductive health. Now, what I want to say is that we may not take this. We want to take things the minister should immediately look at and say go. Or do we take it? Okay. Color it red. Okay, make it red. Shade it red. Now, lack of political will at the level of leadership over many succeeding administrations. Make it red. See, let's be specific. If you make a multitude of statements, what it means is that we are not going to send this one to minister. You will send minister something that is actionable from his desk. This okay. Or make it yellow. Just make it yellow. That lack of political will is in the middle. Now, weak coordination and absence of viable structures and mechanisms to drive and support all government commitments. Red. Now, weak civil society capacity to hold government so to account on transparency, accountability, and fulfillment of national and international obligations and commitments. Make it, okay, red. Make it yellow. Let me explain why we may make it yellow. But let me explain. Because we can get factual with it later and still have it attended to. As mean we have data to back this up now. This, the whole report. What do you mean by extending to? what do you mean by sending to civil? Because to me, AAFP is a civil society organization. The people who called us here is a civil society organization, and we all know. Okay, thank you. Then the health budgeting processes are not inclusive, transparent, and do not create room for effective dialogue and monitoring by key stakeholders. Make it yellow. We are talking family planning, financing, and policy. Please, specifically. And when we go out there, let everything we are telling the minister be family planning, financing, and policy. That's how we can make a greater impact. Not going generic, everything about health, everything about funding. Please, I think, sorry, but let me make a suggestion. Where we have the health budgeting process, make it the family planning process. Make it FP budgeting process, and we can make our profit. Yes, sir. Okay, Prof, thank you. If you recall, in a previous statement, we said that we are committed to making 10% of annual health budget for family planning and reproductive health. It's specific. And so it's not, we cannot, let us be talking for 10% of health budget for family planning and reproductive health, and not do we accept that in taking this to the minister, we should be advocating for budgeting for health and not specific for family planning? Because that's what this means. Thank you. Lack of ownership and continuity in policy implementation by successive governments. Please color this one red. Okay, move to the recommendations that followed.
I think since these are issues, there are some of them we need to frame to reflect as issues. For example, the second bullet just says commitment of 8.35 annually to RH. Is it an issue? What makes it an issue? Yes. Or partial whatever. So frame it and put it there so it becomes an issue. This one is just a statement.
Thank you, ma'am. The Secretariat will do all the necessary framing and have it approved by AAFP before it goes out. Thank you. Now, recommendations. Successive governments should own and implement all international commitments to funding for family planning. Green? Hello? You are blocking people, sir. I think you're blocking her. That's why she keeps asking all words. Mary can, the other person. Okay. Successive governments should own and implement all international commitments to funding for family planning. Mark it green, color it green. But if you would also ask me, anyway, we will make it active when we finish, because it's not just saying successive governments. There are levels of government and there is a government. And we are sending it to the government that is there now, who will not be there and make rules for successive governments. But we'll get the idea. Now, this is Nigeria now. So government should institutionalize a strict accountability framework and ensure transparency in the budgeting process implementation for family planning. It's too open. I understand it's too open. Somebody says vague. Can we make it closely concrete? Can we make it closely concretized and specific? Idea, please. What should it be? Or, okay, mark it yellow. We'll work on it. And in case you are led by the Spirit, you can just scribe what it is and then let us have. We'll reflect it and consider it. I'm looking at somebody. Thank you. Thank you. So, strengthening health civil society capacity for voice and accountability to enhance engagement, advocacy, and dialogue, as well as monitoring of policy implementation at all levels. Strengthening civil society capacity for voice and accountability to enhance engagement, advocacy, and dialogue, as well as monitoring of policy implementation at all levels. Red. Do we agree it should be red? Let me explain. I think majority of us here are from civil society. I can say that without fear of favor. So, is there anything, yeah? Is there anything wrong in strengthening our capacity to engage? Civil society. No, we are letting the minister. Okay, so we would. There should be policy. Is that a policy that will help in strengthening of civil society capacity? I thought that's what is being talked about.
When you are looking at policy and you want to advance policy in any sector, you need very strong civil society. And in the health sector, we don't have it. We need strong civil society that will serve as a voice for health sector that can advocate. So if we do have some, they are not strong enough. So we need to build their capacity. And so what it means that even a donor can create opportunities to strengthen civil society. Look at what is happening in education. Sakefa. You know, how many of us know about Sakefa? Sakefa is a strong civil society.
Ma, the issue is whether we should be telling the minister.
So, hold on. You see, out of what you're recommending here, my own take is that you develop you distill out what you're going to engage the minister with, and then leave everything that you've adopted for the further implementation, because this is part of a project and it is policy related. If you want to go and advocate to the minister, there are certain things you have to distill out, and in your one pager, which you call your policy brief. Then the rest of the thing plus what you have in the one pager will be part of your report. Do you understand? So there are things you don't need to throw out, because it's not only for the consumption of the minister only. You can use this document to go to Gate. Gate from the document can also distill out other advocacy-related projects that they can fund. So let us see beyond and think out of the box for what we are going to do with what is coming out of these 2 days. Okay, I think she has clarified what I wanted to say, that it produced a lot of work. There are issues that can be dealt with by the ministry. There are some that other people will respond to. So we are not going to throw everything away.
Yeah,
and we need, even if we are going to, we are looking at funding. One thing that can make government to move is civil society advocating with government. So that one is a good recommendation for me.
So again, let's not dwell so much on this. I mean, what we've all said is a given. It's accepted to every one of us here. In fact, the very fact that we are here today is the manifestation of the role of civil society in articulating and advocating for this. This dialogue itself is civil society driven, even though it's all in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health. And it's a very important partnership, the kind of which we want to see. So we're absolutely with you on this. And let me assure you, we are going to have many documents, just like Charity has articulated, we are going to have many documents out of this process as facilitators. Besides what we will synthesize and take out for advocacy to the minister, there are working documents for and the partners who supported this process to carry forward, and we're going to do that. Our shading, our coloring are for different purposes. We have not explained that. We are not deleting anything. But believe you me, and even if we are going to delete and throw away anything, we cannot do it alone. We cannot sit down as facilitators. We don't want this process. We are only facilitating. We can't take such decisions. There are far decisions we cannot take. You have done a lot of work putting these things together, brainstorming over 2 days, and then we just throw it away. We will not do that. So we assure you, everything here is going to be used for some purpose. However, for now, we need to do this coloring and this shading to guide us in all what we are going to be packaging for our various stakeholders. Thank you.
Okay, so make it quick. Now, promote availability of information on health funding in relation to Freedom of Information Act. That act is capital A. What's this about? Do we green, yellow? About what? Availability of information on health funding. So we make it green. I don't know, I want, Okay, I should read again. Sorry ma. Hello. Promote availability of information on health funding in relation to FOI Act, A, capital A, small c, Freedom of Information Act. Thank you. Is it all available information? If we do this, how is it promoting family planning? Make it green. And then go to the next. Public sector funding, trends, issues, challenges, and opportunities. We have this issue of non-release of funds. It's a very big statement. I think in the course of doing a report, we'll make it. I want to assume that it's non-release of budgeted funds for family planning by government, right? That's what I want to believe is meant to be there as a problem. Green or yellow or red? Make it green. non-release of budgeted and approved funds. There is a question of, is it non-release? I don't know, what do we think? Is release of budgeted fund a problem in Nigeria? Is it? So you say non-release / late release. Non-release / late release of approved budget funds. Approved budget of funds. And would you please make it for family planning? Could you please make it funds for family planning? Non-release stroke. Okay, non-release stroke untimely release. Together, the reason is non-release is one issue. Late untimely release is another issue. When is it untimely? Okay. So use untimely. Non-release stroke untimely release. Then bureaucracy on, and please make it green. Bureaucracy on commodity logistics and distribution. Is this really a problem? Is it really a problem that we have commodities and the problem is release and distribution? Okay.
Hello. Commodities distribution, it's a problem at the state level. It's not a national level problem. The federal government gets these commodities and gets it down to the states. It's the states that are having challenges getting them from their own stores to the SDPs. So if we are talking about problems with commodity logistics, it's a state level problem. So are we saying here that we want to use one umbrella to address it in all the states in terms of one approach, which will not work? I'm telling you now that will not work. We're trying to use one approach for the states. It's not being pessimistic, it's the reality. The states will tell you what they can do, and each state will tell you what they can do. So we need to address the states as one. Before, what government was doing was review and supply that they tried to do across all the states. They have to drop that idea now and going to direct data and whatever they were captured. Last mile distribution, which again is still the federal government that is pushing the bulk of it. And there is a limit with which the federal government can do that. Federal government is procuring the commodities, and if they are taking money again from procurement to do last mile, then it means there is a limit to the commodities that they can procure. Already now, the funding, the cost for the commodities has gone up from I think 12 million US dollars to about 15 now, because there is thinking awareness, people are now going for those ones. So it has gone up. And from presentation by the Minister of Health yesterday, Dr. Afolabi, the commitment by the partners, which has been the major one, is also going down. So if federal government money that they're supposed to put to procure, we are not taking it down to do last mile in the states, then what is the states doing? Or what are the states going to do?
Thank you. I want to share an experience with you. I do oversight on global fund projects on behalf of CCN. And I visited a hospital in Ebonyi, General Hospital precisely, where the people who are supplying held commodities from the federal level, contractors, you name it, brought in commodities that are expiring the next month. And they held it on and brought it in on a Saturday when only the illiterate gate man was at work. They got the illiterate gate man to sign receipt of those commodities and vamoose. So from my experience in the field, commodities get late to states. I have moved virtually all the states in this country doing that other side. Commodities arrive late.
Again, I'm going back to what the issue is. Is it bureaucracy? Is it funding? What is it? Is it funding for last mile commodity? Or is it bureaucracy? I mean, we're looking at funding. What are we talking about here?
It's funding.
Yeah, it's funding for last mile distribution of commodities. That is what the issue is in the country now. It's not a bureaucracy. So if we can reframe it in that way, the federal can actually, when they have meetings, especially National Council on Health meetings, be able to table it and discuss it there in terms of what can be done. So that is.
If this is the consensus, okay, but I want to tell you that it is not the last mile that is the only problem. It's not my understanding of last mile is from nearby store to facility, isn't it?
No. From the state central store.
Okay. So let's take it at that, but my experience in the field doesn't justify this. But if this is the way we want it, here we put it. I have this in pictures and reports. Okay. Next, so color it where bureaucracy, where is that?
NFTA was the one distributing commodities up to the last mile. And they had a model they were using. They called it the review and supply model. Now they have said that they can no longer continue with that. And they held a meeting with all the states and provided 3 different options. Is it so? Am I telling? Provided 3 different options. One is to continue with the review and supply model. The other one is to have an integrated model, which will be a logistics system that deals with all the commodities and health commodities in the state. And the third one they call the direct delivery. So what they said was each state should choose among these options which one they can use to be able to make sure that commodities are in the service delivery point. And you require funding. Whichever option they choose requires funding. So many states are not budgeting for this funding for the last mile distribution. And that is the issue. Yes.
Okay, so funding should be provided to move commodities from the various state medical stores or wherever they are stored to the facilities and end users. Can we do something? Forgive me, some of the things we use are tautological, and in fact, some of them are also esoteric, but some of the people that look at it do not understand. If you drop this document before a parliamentarian, will he understand the last mile distribution? Our communication should also be very effective.
I think we should adopt as much as possible. The term last mile distribution is actually well known around the world. It's a standard terminology, and which I think we can use here. We can just qualify it last mile distribution at the state level. Okay, and it's actually at the state level, of course, that you talk of last mile distribution, moving commodities from the state store down to the health facilities. So we can use that and maybe just explain a little bit in brackets, like you said, for the purpose of those who may not understand that terminology, last mile distribution.
Yeah. These are terminologies, moving commodities from the state stores to the end users of facilities. Thank you. And then color it green. Lack of funding for hold on. Last my hand, then open brackets. Okay, just last mile distribution of commodities, of family planning commodities. Then yeah, just commodities, then IE, moving commodities, family planning commodities from state stroke store to SDPs. From the state stroke store to SDPs, service delivery points, that is. Okay, check whether it's okay now. From service delivery points, from store to service delivery, after store then to service delivery points. Service delivery points to service delivery points. No, it's not political party. No. Service delivery points. Thank you. Now, recommendations here. I said that is IE, it's allowed. Now, please scroll up. There is something we didn't do anything about. Up. Sorry. What did we say here? Okay. Okay, go down. We'll come back to it. Okay, then color it green. And then get back to up so that we'll look at the recommendations. The Honorable Minister of Health is to ensure the release of funds placed for family planning commodities. We should also mind the tone of our language. I think so. The Honorable Minister is requested. Sorry. Or do we leave it like this? Okay. Okay, so put it that way. Honorable Minister should ensure the release of funds placed for family planning commodities. He was asking me why. So it's not good to be autocratic. But when you want to speak to your superiors, you should mind. Yeah, the Honorable Minister is the head of health in this country. And all of us are working under him as long as he's the minister. If we want to send him a statement, we should be, believe you me, educated enough to moderate our language. So we can say the Honorable Minister is requested, Minister of Health is requested to ensure. Please, we're all leaders in our own right. We know the way when our subordinates and colleagues speak to us, words matter a lot. Now, make it green, is requested to ensure, yeah. Then provide an e-budget for monitoring, tracking, and transparency on allocation and disbursement. In Lagos, we will say Kinele. I said in Lagos, I don't say anything new. It's something missing. Please make it yellow. Let's get a basic things before this electronic. Let's be doing the electronic on our personal accounts first, and then we can advance to this one later. Thank you. Now, provide regional offices for collection and distribution of family planning commodities to ease the lack and gap. Don't we have this? Don't we have regional stores now? Eh? Hello? Don't we have? Who are those involved? Okay, if we don't have this already, then it's good. But I think somewhere we don't. Okay, so color it green. Thank you. The FMOH is to allocate adequate funding for family planning to include consumables.
This issue of regional stores, there was a time there were regional stores, but it was discovered that it only increased the lead time. The lead time is the time it takes for the commodities to go from the manufacturer down to the end user at the service delivery point. So that was why the regional stores were abolished. We had a store in Bauchi, we had a store in Enugu and some places. So you move commodities from the Lagos store to Enugu store, then they have to receive the commodities, do all the inventory before they start. That lengthens the lead time, so they were eliminated. So I don't think we should be calling for them. No. In fact, nobody will listen to this. So just forget about regional stores. It only lengthens the lead time.
Any contrary opinion? Mark it red. Now, the FMOH is to develop a strategic, no, not that one. Okay, that's it. Okay, red. FMOH is to allocate adequate funding for family planning to include commodities, consumables. Hello? Mark it green. Now, the FMOH is to develop a strategic communication plan for the public to create awareness on family planning and using the local language and flavor of the people, making it community-based. Don't we, with all these campaigns we are doing, don't we have this?
Dr. Sandra can respond to this. There's already a strategic, a behavior change.
Well,
I think we have a BCC strategy document.
The old one has even been reviewed. There is a document. We have moved from this.
So it's not to develop, it's to operationalize. Because it's already in place. Okay. The other thing I want, before you leave here, I think I saw one recommendation. Is this group 2? This is group 2. That there should be a national meeting of all the state primary health care development agency directors to discuss funding for family planning. I saw it, it's like it's vanished.
In fact, even if it is not there, it's a very important thing.
Under recommendations. Did you get what she said? It is recommended, it's requested or recommended that all directors of primary health care in the state should meet to, hello ma, meet to discuss funding. Okay, did you get that? Meeting of all state directors of primary health care to discuss funding for family planning. Funding for family planning. For FP, yeah. Thank you. Yes?
I think if you have this kind of because this kind of meeting has been held before, I think in this very Zuma hall, when UNAP organized a meeting that brought FP coordinators and directors of primary health care, if I have not forgotten, and they made commitments as to how they were going to fund family planning, even last mile distribution. So I think it's just going to be more of a follow-up, not a fresh meeting as if nothing has ever been discussed. In fact, some years back, another meeting was held at Chida Hotels, and the state, all of them brought up plans on how they were going to do last mile distribution. So the problem has always been implementation of those plans. So if you call them for this meeting now, maybe it will be for them to come and tell us how far they've implemented the plans.
Some states, what they do was just move those people from the ministry and move them to the agency. So it's the same people that are there. Some have fresh blood as the head of the agencies, but still move those same people to the agency. And some split those people. Some are still sitting in the ministry, and then there are still some people in the agency. So, if you bring all the people in the agency, you can have like half of them are still the same old people that keep to the commitments. The new ones, the advantage you probably will have is that some of them are direct appointments of the governors now, and some might have some link with the governors, so they can access more funds for the agency. But there are some agencies that have been on ground and they don't access funds. So that's still there.
Hello, Chumwe. No, since the training was conducted last 2 years, not now. You remember that the new government, that this meeting, there's need for conduct of another meeting to discuss issues of financial funding and regulatory issues around. It is very, very necessary to do this meeting.
I don't have any.
Yeah. Because now the agency is full place, healthcare under one roof now. Majority of the state are running healthcare under one roof. They have their budget line for the implementation of all this. So now they need to have a meeting with the directors of primary healthcare or executive secretary or what have you to discuss these issues, so that they will continue to mobilize more within their own budget line to provide all this. So I believe it is necessary.
Thank you. Caller is free.
Just like the existence of National Council on Health, maybe it should be good to have a forum of executive secretaries of the primary agency, not just for them to meet once in a year or whatever. Maybe the meeting should be monthly or on quarterly basis. So maybe that is my only addition.
That the meeting should be programmed to be either annually, quarterly, or biannually. Bros, that's what you're saying, right? Thank you. And the outcome. Thank you. Another forum that is not this meeting.
For the executive secretary, the prime minister, all the state, the family plan, that's what it says.
But that's what this is saying now. That's what this is saying still. The forum is the meeting. The thing is how frequently will they now be holding, where and when. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Now, non-public sector funding actionable points. I don't know. Mark that non-public sector funding actionable points. Mark it yellow. That heading. We will revisit it. That's not what we gave us. Thank you. Now, sorry. Hello. mine for now. I need your attention. And I don't want anybody to make me jealous. So, he said you should scroll up. He wants to say something.
Yes. Just to add, another recommendation. I want to suggest, if the whole house agrees, additional recommendation that we need to, frame it well, do serious, very serious state level advocacy. Not bringing them, you can bring them and do whatever you want to do all of them together, but going to individual states and doing
now who are the we?
civil society.
Good. Listen, please. Let's. Hello. Let's be focused, please. We have lost 2/3 of the membership of this meeting to attrition. People are just drifting away. So we need to remain focused and quickly try to end this session. We need to have a forum for CSOs to continue to engage with government at the state level. Fine. We will take that as recommendation, additional recommendation. We need to have, because please, if we have additional contributions, please, let's be a little bit patient. We will soon be rounding up. Please, a little bit patience, please. We have tried. Let's remain this. So let's go to engage with states. We will complete this. We'll take it the point. So please, let's look at the remaining points. The non-public sector funding options were not well. We have reviewed it a little bit. The issues were not well articulated. Because what we had in mind was that, what we had in mind was, and I remember making adequate explanation on that. We know most of the funding comes from government and partners, whether bilateral or multilateral. We are looking at the other sector that does not belong to the government or the partners, bilateral or multilateral. I remember when Professor Patusi made his presentation yesterday, the first presentation, he even mentioned some of these entities that were into supporting public health programs, including public planning, like the telecom industries, the oil and gas industry, Shell, BP, and so on and so forth. We are looking at you highlighting those issues and seeing how we can further tap into those available resources. But that did not come out well here. So we shouldn't waste so much time on this. Sorry? No, it came out in the recommendations, yes, it came out in the recommendations. But in terms of issues, if you look at the issues that were highlighted, let's call okay, non-functional state of the PPP unit. The Ajah PPP unit. Do we have PPP units in the Federal Ministry of Health, for instance? Good. So it's non-functional. So is it true? Is it true? So you see, it's contentious now. It's functional. So it's a non-issue. So it's right. No. The second bullet point. This one is right. Put this one right. Now, how is this an issue with public-private? The first bullet point, please. How is it an issue with those of you who work in this committee? Can you explain to us how different in fiscal year funding of cycles?
Funding cycle from September to October.
Yeah.
The Nigerian government is January, of course, to December. So most times when you're planning, they have already finished planning. So that's different, making it difficult for them to key in the non-public sector. But now we're saying, okay, if they can have an annual meeting, that's where we provided the solution for an annual work plan, so they can harmonize activities for the year. So whatever time or whichever time any of the partners are having their own plan, they can always bring it in.
So what do you think about this point?
It's green. It's green because that's the solution to the problem.
I want to tell us something. Shall we, for the purpose of convenience, act in vain? Are we in a position to ask the federal government of Nigeria to change its financial plan?
No, that's not.
Listen, sir. To suit that of the US, so that funds from donors can come when federal government is releasing its own? Or are we in a position to tell the donors to change their fiscal year so that their own money will come when our government's own is coming? The point here is that we see that fiscal year funding cycle for donors creates difficulty because they don't key into government policies. That's my understanding, sir.
That's not the point you're making. We're saying the existing issue, which we listed as challenge, is that our fiscal year varies. The funders, and basically we have identified that the funders drive the process of family planning as trends, current trends. Now we are saying as a way of mitigating or solving that problem is to see that we come together. It's all about the harmonization, collective or joint coordination. To see activities are harmonized into an annual work plan, not separate work plan, so that whatever time the funders are doing their own fiscal budgeting, they can also capture the government's own. You understand?
So can we go back and call it harmonization of annual work plan between the government and donors?
That's okay.
So it becomes something doable, something we can advocate for and manage, please.
No, you don't write it there, the other one.
Harmonization of annual work plan. That's clear now. Is there? Because that's the issue we are addressing. Okay, sorry. It says difference in fiscal year. Just call it difference in. Okay. Don't worry, we can. If what we are seeking to do is to harmonize our work plan, we can always plan together. I think it has to be for FP now. It's for FP. It's for FP. It's for FP. And that's not harmonization. It's for it to run. I understand FMOH says this is already happening.
We are not saying at any time you just bring your work plan. What we are saying is, like my state, we have a coordination since 2014. We have tried it to develop our annual operational plan, and we gather all the partners. We gather all the partners. What we experience is that when you put out, you line your activities, government says, okay, this is what I'm going to do. You ask, what are you going to bring for this? You say, oh, they will say, oh, let us go. When we go, our head office will tell us. You know, you ask me the same thing. So at the end, you only have the government one, you know. Invariably, before they come back January or February, you expect that you would have passed your budget in September to government. And it doesn't help. So we'll say, let's find a way whereby we are modern. When we are doing,
sorry, I want to say something.
When we are preparing our vote, we should know what they are doing so that we can have more.
Okay, I'm not disputing what he has said, but from the ministry level, it's a very different experience altogether. At least I know it happened last year, towards the end of the year, when they were, bringing together their work plan. They came to us and with us, so we sat on the same table and we discussed and, harmonized our areas of interest. This is what you're going to do for us. This is where you should take and, do that. And I know at the beginning of this year, that same discussion also continued. So maybe he has a very different experience, but this is what I know that is happening in the ministry currently. Can we move on? We have harmonization. Whichever way you want to do it, has become operational. This is recommendation. So let's move on before I find myself the only one in this form.
By that time, everything will be approved. Sorry. What do we have now? You didn't put anything new. Madam Chime, is that what he asked for? That we shouldn't write anything there? She didn't say. You were writing something deeply, and I wonder who you are listening to. I tell you the final thing. Don't worry, I tell you the final thing. So let's make it. Okay, harmonization of annual work plans between the donors and the government at various levels. Would that be okay? Between donors, partners, stakeholders, or who? What do you want? Which one is it? Okay, between the public and non-public sector. Harmonization of annual work plan, annual family planning work plans. Harmonization of annual AAFP work plans between the public and private sector at all levels. At all levels, so that even when they get to states, they can also do. And like my madam at the top said, green. Color is green. What did we say about the previous ones? Have we looked at them? The previous better coordination between government and donors, I think that has been taken care of here. So you can mark that one red. See where you are now, mark it red. Then government should actively key into global funding facility managed by World Bank through timely release of counterpart funds to encourage donors to do more. Green. I am aware, Ducky, FMOH has keyed into global funding facility. Yeah, because as a member of National Health Financing Committee, I know we've been talking about that. So you mark it green. Reaching out to the Governors Forum to adopt and adapt the National FP Blueprint as buy-in. Green. Go to the next one. Everything about PPP, please mark it yellow. Everything about PPP, all recommendations are marked in yellow. We check through. If there is a take in, we will take and input in other places. Go. Green, yellow, yellow. We are at the last stage now. Anybody who waits to the end will take that my lunch that this one I have not brought. They have not brought my, you will take my. Okay. Status of funding and process for implementation in the future. Inadequate awareness of the existence through content of family planning blueprint. I think we've addressed that before. Haven't we talked about awareness of the blueprint? The problems, the challenges are these: inadequate awareness of the existence through content of the family planning blueprint, inadequate follow-up at state level, inadequate funds to support states to develop their costed implementation plan if a state does not have money to develop a plan. Dwindling national financial resources, sociocultural beliefs, political will. Which of these do we take? We cannot really take all of them. The issue of awareness, I think there is already somewhere we captured awareness. Go ahead, maybe to help us. HPCC, yeah. Okay. Under status of funding and prospects for implementation in the future, please let's just capture this recommendation, bullet 1. No, don't cancel. You are shading it. Okay, just press enter. Where the cursor is now, at M, first bullet, yeah, press enter. Thank you. So type there that issues around family planning, financing, and policy should be included as matters to be attended to by the Health Policy and Coordination Committee, FMOH, HPCC. Health Partners Coordinating Committee. Issues around family planning, financing, and policy should be included in the deliberations of the Health Partners Coordinating Committee, HPCC /FMOH. FMOH. Okay. Ducky, is that okay? All right, thank you. Now, so we return to here. Inadequate awareness of the existence of the existence and content of the awareness blueprint. Inadequate follow-up at state level. Inadequate follow-up at state level seems blank to me. It's not explicit. But the issue of awareness, even if it is repeated, we can talk about it. But inadequate follow-up, who is following who up at state level? And on what?
Yes, what we were thinking about was that the federal level needs to follow up the states to develop their costed implementation plans. Because out of the 36 states, you know, it's only Lagos and Kaduna that have made a move in that direction. So it's to keep.
So please go there and write lack of costed family planning implementation plan in most states of the Federation. Here, where you have inadequate follow-up at state level, change it and add lack of costed family planning implementation plan. Lack of costed FP implementation plan in most states of the Federation. Ducky, would that be okay? Huh? Why? But I am concerned that I don't know the way we feel. I want us, there are so many other meetings going on about other sectors in health, other services in health. We are family planning here now. Let's talk family planning. When the minister or whoever brings it, you know this is family planning. It's different from immunization. Definitely different from health system strengthening. Definitely different from malaria and the rest of them. Okay, don't worry. You know what you do? Just remove FP, just make it costed implementation plan for FP. Costed implementation plan for FP. Thank you. Now, inadequate funds to support states to develop costed implementation plan. I don't know. Maybe we'll ask Madam Chinwe. AAFP will provide money so that states can do costed implementation plan. Okay. Okay. Inadequate funds, leave it. Then I don't know. The other ones we can't really do anything about. The remaining three don't seem so apt here now. Political will, very old story. Sociocultural beliefs and the rest of them. So I'm suggesting, if you don't mind, the last three, make them ready. From dwindling. Thank you. So we are back. We are on solutions or recommendations. Massive. With undo. No, just see. No, just so what should we do? What should we put there? So what do we do? Retain or remove? Those in support of keeping it in red, say aye. Those so keep it in red. I don't want my brother to cast that type of vote Madam Sarah cast at the stadium. Okay, now we move over here. Massive awareness creation for Nigeria Family Planning Blueprint. Mark it green. Advocacy, I hope so. Okay. Town hall meetings. Okay, thank you. Advocacy to key policymakers, private sector, FBO, etc. Yellow. I hope we know why we're marking it yellow. We are not asking, this is for us, is one of the things we will tease out later and begin to work. It's really an action for civil society. All right. Now, male involvement, big issue, presented in a very slight way. Mark it deep green. So male involvement, you gotta try. See, just mark it green. That deep don't block the whole system. The Nigeria Family Planning Blueprint should be used to inform allocation of resources, financial resources at all levels. It should be guiding budget. Sounds tautological. So remove it, make it red. Federal government to pay counterpart funding in order to access global finance facility for reproductive, maternal, and newborn child health. Okay? Okay. Okay, please remove. If it becomes too plenty, if we've mentioned it before, let's make it red here. Emphasis, we say, is it not one group that is bringing this? When you sound tautological, make it yellow. Make it yellow. Yeah. Now, continuous engagement with House Committee on Health on issues of reproductive health. Just make it continuous engagement with lawmakers. and then you make it yellow. That is for civil society. That's the advocacy we all need to be doing. Or what do you think, sir? So what if the House committee at the federal level takes it and the lawmakers at the state level say no? What if the Senate says no?